Wife wants a divorce for a kiss on the neck. Is she overreacting? Plus 5 updates. My male 40 wife, female 38, wants a divorce because of a boundary step that I made. Background. We've been together for almost 22 years and married for almost 18. The last year has been the trickiest with a 4-month separation and attempt at reconciliation. At the beginning of the reconciliation, she allowed physical touch and was the one who initiated intimacy again. About 3 months into the reconciliation, she decided we needed to work on our emotional relationship and requested that we have an unmarried Christian level of physical intimacy. This meant only hugs and kisses with a requirement that I request intimacy, i.e., if I wanted a hug, I had let her know by saying, "I would like a hug, please." The return to any increased physical intimacy had to be her decision, and I had to wait for her to decide she was comfortable with it. I initially didn't agree, but didn't have a choice if I wanted to continue our relationship. After about 2 months of doing this and with things seeming to be getting better, I made the mistake one night to shoot my shot and hopped on the bed with her while she was surfing on her phone, placed my arm across her stomach, snuggled into her side, and started kissing her neck. She immediately made her displeasure known and requested I stop, and I did. After 2 weeks of her being upset with me but not really talking to me about it, things started to seem better. She seemed to have forgiven me. I then made a comment asking when things were going to start moving forward. She got upset with me again, gave me another 2 weeks of silent treatment, then gave me a letter saying she wants a divorce. Upon further prying, she cites the fact I felt I could just jump on her body as unforgivable and the boundary she can't let go. I get why she is upset. I feel she is overreacting as this is something I haven't done before. She says she can't trust that I won't ever do something like that again and is unable to give me a chance to prove that it was just a bad decision and mistake, that I am remorseful for letting happen. There is a lot of additional history throughout our relationship, and especially within the last year, that would take me a lot of time to put into this. We've both made mistakes and done bad things to each other. I'll try later today, maybe to update this with the full story or create another post. My issue is I don't understand how she can just be over it right now. She has no desire to figure it out, so it's heartbreaking. Edit. The separation is a lot to unpack as well, and in my opinion, worthy of an "Am I the A-hole" post. The given reason was jealousy, shocks, trust issues on my end. I sought therapy and figured my shit out and was able to show it during reconciliation. The pullback in physical intimacy was justified by her because she was feeling smothered by me, and she felt sex was the only connection we had and wanted to see if we could build an emotional foundation. Edit 2. Prior to the separation, I had accused her of cheating. There were a lot of signs of at least an emotional affair and some strange behaviors that I feel anyone would say, "Hold on, what's going on?" I had no proof of anything and she was heartbroken. I would accuse her of it. I moved out and worked on myself. She saw this change and initiated the reconciliation. I set expectations at the beginning of this as far as what I needed in physical intimacy, and she initially agreed. She was initially able to accommodate but was always still somewhat disconnected, and I didn't feel she was trying to put effort in. I tried to communicate my frustration, and she responded with the pullback in intimacy altogether. I have since learned she never forgave me for the jealousy issues that caused the separation and has been harboring resentment throughout the reconciliation. Edit 3. Damn, there are a lot of dudes with shitty points of views on how a relationship works. Like, damn. Anyway, I know I fucked up by pushing the boundary. I know it wasn't my right to do that to her. I don't really know why I thought it would be okay. I made a bad decision. I wasn't shooting my shot to push for sex. I had come to terms with that not being a thing. I have never wanted her to have sex with me unless she wanted to. Not very enjoyable when the other person isn't into it. Yes, we have had different libidos throughout our relationship, and I've never wanted to make her feel bad about not having sex with me. In this instance, I just wanted to be close to her. It doesn't justify anything I did, and I'm not trying to get out of anything. I realize I need to live with the consequences. I just felt like it was an overreaction to the situation and needed some insight. I'll try to respond as much as possible when I get home from work. Edit 4. So, a few months after we got married, she started hanging out with some guys at her work. I think that I would have been okay with just that, but she started getting distant and telling me half-truths, hiding her phone, or straight up not communicating normal things with me. When I confronted her, she told me nothing was going on, I was overreacting, I was crazy. She made me think I needed therapy and to get put on antidepressants. The therapist I saw was recommended by the guy I was seeing as he was his and his wife's counselor. I upset her with the accusations and she ran off to her parents for a few days. One night she called me at like 1 in the morning in tears asking me to come be with her. I drove the hour and she told me she was hanging out alone with the guy and doing a little drinking and his wife came home and kicked her out accusing them of stuff. The guy didn't stand up for her and she was upset and apologized for making me feel the way I did. She never confessed to any wrongdoing, but a year later I found a letter she had written confessing to the emotional affair at the time and how she was conflicted. There were two more situations similar to this, with one time me coming home from work to her and a guy hanging out alone together. All of this stopped when she was pregnant with our first daughter. Last year, things kind of started happening similarly, hanging out with guys at work, not communicating, coming home and rushing off to the bedroom without making eye contact, hiding her phone, wearing sexy panties to work. When I confronted her about it, she said the same things regarding me being crazy, and instead of validating my feelings and working with me to compromise in ways to ease these feelings, she said I should have kept it to myself and worked it out myself. She then went into another silent treatment period and came out deciding we needed to separate. She then proceeded to blame me for holding her back and made me responsible for anxiety. Edit 5. During the separation, she basically sat at the house and surfed social media while admonishing me for never doing anything and having anxiety issues. About a month into it, she met up with her boyfriend from high school who happened to live in the same state as us and invited him into our house for 2 days with our kids, even though they voiced being uncomfortable with it. She admitted to kissing him to my youngest daughter and made her keep the secret from me. She continued talking to him via text all the time, hiding her phone or going to the other room. A few weeks later, she told me she was going on a solo trip because she felt that I never let her go on one before. She explicitly painted it as a solo trip to everyone, me, our kids, coworkers, and her family. I gave her the benefit of the doubt and thought that's what she was going to do. The night before she left, she was asking me about how to get to where she was going, and once she decided what time she was leaving, she switched over to texting him. The next day, my daughter was using our laptop, and my wife was signed in to Chrome on it, and she found 3 pictures of them at the location she had just told the girl she was at in her Google Photos. She also trashed them a short time later. She video chatted with them later that night and slipped a we instead of I when talking about dinner. My kids were super upset about her lying to them about seeing him and decided they wanted to confront her but wanted to give her a chance to come clean naturally. She came home the next day, and when I came over to get my clothes and say bye to the kids, she started talking about reconciliation. I told her I wasn't sure about that at that moment, which I think surprised her. Then we all decided to go to the mall for something. Her and the girls decided to try on dresses, and when she came out to show me the one she was wearing, she got upset because I was watching a hockey game on my phone and not paying attention to her. We went to grab some takeout for dinner, and while we were waiting, she asked the girls about me moving back in. They, of course, were happy, but I didn't commit right away and said we needed to talk about it. This caused her to get upset on the drive home, which led me to start pushing her about lying to us. Eventually, at the house, I called her out about the dude being with her, and she denied it until we admitted we had the pictures. She brushed it off as they just met up to do the thing they were in the pictures doing and told our kids she didn't want to tell them because she didn't want them to get upset. The girls decided it was a logical thought and decided to forgive her. I didn't really give a fuck at the time because we were separated and I was kind of finally getting over it. I also didn't have any additional proof, so couldn't push it. We talked a little about reconciling some more, but I didn't commit. The next day when I came to the house, I went to put my pay stub on our paperwork pile in our closet, and on top of the stack was 2 receipts. One was for the hotel she stayed at with the dude's name and address as the registered guest and her card paying for it. The second was the dinner receipt that was about double the amount of what she told me she had, and of course not itemized. I confronted her about it when she got home, and she explained it away, saying he didn't stay the night and he just made the reservation because he was thinking about doing an activity in town but was unable to. She gave me the I need to trust her and take what she's saying for face value spiel, and I stupidly decided that since I didn't have actual proof of them fucking, I needed to let it go. Fuck, I feel like I'm writing a fucked up book.